Hello and welcome to the Unit 1 Lesson 4 tutorial. And today we're going to be talking about midpoint, continuing talking a little bit more about that, as well as circle and radius and how all of those relate to each other. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a definition for those terms. Midpoint is the middle of a segment, and that's going to be pretty easy to figure out. The next one is a circle. And a circle is where all the points in a plane are all the same distance from a center point. And we're going to be looking at that some more, and I'll describe that definition a little bit more here in a moment. And then the radius is a line segment whose endpoints are the center of the circle. That's going to be one of the endpoints. And the other endpoint is going to be anywhere on the circle. So let me go ahead and just kind of describe a couple of things. First off, midpoint. Let me go ahead and draw a line here, and I'm just going to illustrate this with a picture. So there's my line, and this is not going to be accurate, but the midpoint is going to be smack dab in the middle. And I'm sure you guys were able to figure that out yesterday when we were talking about the midpoint formula. But that's going to be right in the middle of this segment, roughly. Now, a circle is basically where you have a point that you start off with. So you got to have a point to start off with. That's going to eventually be the center of our circle. And let's say that I have a radius that's 1 inch. So from this point, I'm going to go 1 inch, and I'm going to put a dot. And then I'm going to go 1 inch, and I'm going to put a dot. 1 inch, put a dot. 1 inch, put a dot. Eventually, we can do this infinitely. We can put dots all over the place that are 1 inch from here. And when we do that, you guys are starting to notice probably that we're eventually going to be making a circle. Now, once again, my points are not accurate. If I had a ruler, this would be much better, but I don't. So you guys are going to have to pretend with me. So pretend that this makes a perfect circle. And all we have to do is connect these dots. Wow, that is not a circle, but you guys get the picture. And all of those dots, if I drew this correctly, would be perfectly the same distance from this spot. So that's basically what a circle is. All of those points are the same distance from that spot. Now, the radius is what we use, the length that we use in order to make that. So for instance, I said 1 inch is from that point to this point. That would be the radius. The radius is how far you go from the center to the outside edge. Always from the center to the outside. Okay, I went back and made a better circle. That way this will all make sense. And I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about diameter. Diameter also relates with a circle and the midpoint. All of this is going to connect. A diameter is a line segment whose endpoints are both on points on the circle. So they're going to be on the edge of the circle. The midpoint passes through the center of the circle. And I'm going to demonstrate that for you guys. I'm going to make a diameter in this circle. So I'm going to use a different color here. And what that diameter does is it goes straight through the center of the circle to the other side. And notice that the end points are touching the circle. That's what a diameter is. And honestly, I have tons of diameters. I'm going to try drawing some of these in different colors. There's one diameter. There's another diameter. And I can draw literally an infinite amount of diameters. Now it just looks like I'm slicing a pizza. So when you slice a pizza, you are cutting a diameter. And once again, the midpoint is right where the center is. So the midpoint of a diameter is the center. So that means that a diameter is actually 2 radiuses. So a diameter, we can say a diameter is basically 2 radius, or radii is the correct way to say it. Radiuses is not the right way, so radii is the plural way. But that's what a diameter is 2 radiuses, or 2 radii.